Welcome to the program, everybody. Welcome to the conversation. According to the Washington Post, the headline reads Trump White House rescinds freeze on federal grants, reversing course. The budget office came under immense pressure over the impacts of a sudden pause in key government spending. Before I get onto this story, I'm on the journey to getting 2,000 subscriptions, or asking 2,000 people to subscribe to Tyrone Bowman Live. That's what we're doing. We're on a journey to securing 2,000 subscriptions to the channel. So if you happen to like the stories that we do, we made, I think, 1,900 videos so far. If you like the stories, if you like the way we report, we do it with integrity, we do it with honesty. None of this stuff is made up. I simply talk about what's already been reported. And I simply quote and I give all the sources. Everything is cited in every video, unless it's a personal editorial. So I kindly subscribe to Tyrone Bowman Live and ask others to subscribe too. I appreciate it. Now let's get down to this all-important story. So once again, according to the Washington Post, this article was written by Jeff Stein and Tony Rome. The White House Budget Office on Wednesday rescinded an order freezing federal grants, according to a copy of a memo obtained by the Washington Post, after the administration's move to halt spending earlier this week provoked a backlash. In the memo distributed to federal agencies, Matthew J. Vath, acting director of the White House Office of Management and Budget, states that OMB Memorandum M-25-13, quote, is rescinded, close quote. That order, issued Monday, instructed federal agencies to temporarily pause all activities related to obligations or disbursement of all federal financial assistance, close quote. The White House order freezing federal grants caused mass chaos and confusion across Washington, appearing to imperil government programs that fund schools, provide housing, and ensure that low-income Americans have access to health care. So low-income Americans includes everybody. States reported issues assessing funds under Medicaid, and even as of Wednesday, public housing authorities reported being locked out of their funding portal. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said Tuesday that assistance for individuals would not be affected. The Trump administration withdrew the order a day after a federal judge in Washington temporarily halted its implementation until February 3rd, allowing public health advocates, nonprofits, and businesses represented by the quote, the left-leaning group of Democracy Forward, more time to challenge the directive's legality. Separately, roughly 24 state attorneys generals filed their own lawsuits against the administration on Tuesday, arguing that the pause in federal spending has harmed their citizens. So mass demonstrations began to erupt, and they probably were going to continue. Leavitt acknowledged that the initial budget office memo has been suspended, but said the administration's broader efforts to block spending it opposes remain in effect. Other executive orders approved by President Trump, but not rescinded, including the pause on foreign aid and on some clean energy funds approved by the Biden administration, appeared to still be in effect. Budget experts said the administration did issue humanitarian waivers Tuesday, allowing some foreign aid to go forward despite the pause. Leavitt said the order was rescinded to make clear that the administration will comply with the federal order pausing the freeze and to end the court course. The executive order issued by the president on funding reviews remain in full force, and effect will be vigorously implemented by all agencies and departments, Leavitt said in a statement. That also blasted dishonest media coverage without giving any specific examples. This action should effectively end the court case and allow the government to focus on enforcing the president's orders on controlling federal spending. In the coming weeks and months, more executive action will continue to end the egregious waste of federal funding. We'll see. Speaking at the White House, Trump asserted Wednesday that the media had purposely created confusion over whether the freeze would affect Social Security and Medicare. He characterized the pause as a short-term freeze on certain discretionary spending payments for us to quickly look at the scams, dishonesty, waste, and abuse that's taken place in our government for too long. See, the thing that bothers me with the administration, they won the election, just do the freaking job. There's no presidential campaign in force here. The election is over. You can't appease these people. They're miserable when they're happy. They're miserable when they're miserable when they win. This is ridiculous. Everything is always negativity, negativity, negativity. According to them, they say the American people strongly support these efforts. Trump said, "We are fighting to get the most out of every single tax dollar for our great citizens," and I put in parentheses, for billionaires. Republicans in Congress echoed Trump's complaint hours before the White House rescinded the freeze. Representative Tom Emmer from Minnesota, the number 3 Republican in the House, called coverage of OBM's order the first ridiculous media hoax of 2025. Well, they can get used to the media because the media is going to scrutinize and recover everything, and cover everything. Everything with them is a hoax. Nothing is real unless it comes from Fox News. If it comes from Fox News, it has to be real. If it comes from any other outlet, it has to be false. So, the OMB review of certain spending priorities should be seen for what it is, good governance. Emmer said from the GOP's policy retreat at Trump's golf resort outside of Miami. I, for one, am glad to have a president in the White House who is delivering on his promise to get our fiscal house in order. So let me see I forget the Republicans, let me see what the Democrats have to say regarding this. While this is extremely welcome news, it only stops those illegal pauses in government funding approved by the Budget Office's funding freeze, said Bobby Kogan, a former Biden administration official at the Center for American Progress, a left-leaning think tank. I don't call it a left-leaning think tank. I call it a think tank, period. Of course, the Washington Post is Republican favorite, always. They always like to favor the Republicans, no matter what. So, till next time, never surrender, never quit.